let me talk about this this Mercatus study, which is getting promoted. Mercatus.
People's Policy Project is unavailable due to requests, by the way, because of this story.
Wow. Okay. All right. So since you can't get it from them directly right now, that's good sign. That's a good sign. He just broke the internet. Because what's happening is if you go to Google News right now, and Matt, why don't you do that? Go to Google News right now. I'm just going to guess. If you go into Google News right now, you will see, let's see, what do we got here? Scroll down. Is there anything on there about the Medicare? It was like a top story for a little bit. Okay, maybe
here it is.
Where?
Bernie. Well, it's the way Fox is reporting.
Oh yeah, here it is.
Yeah, look at how
Bernie Sanders Medicare-For-All bill estimated to cost $32.6 trillion dollars. New study
Get
says.
that duddy.
And that is how you will see this. You may not see Bernie Sanders' name there, but you will see will cost the government $32.6 trillion. However, and just to reiterate what I said earlier, this is a study on what the federal government will pay between 2022 and 2031. This is all based on projections. But let's just stipulate that the projections are right, because Brunig would argue, actually, some of the projections are a little bit too loosey-goosey, right? Like they're talking about how much it would cost, administrative costs would be for the federal government. And Mercatus says that they will be 6%. But if you look at Medicare's costs, they're closer to 2%. So in other words, 2 cents on every dollar that is spent on Medicare goes to administration. The other 98 cents go towards health care. In the private sector, I think it's something like 13 to 20%, essentially. Actually, it's 20%. Administrative and profits and whatnot, and then 80% is for health care. Forget that Mercatus may be overestimating how much it will cost the federal government to administer this. Just even accept their numbers. They are estimating what it's going to cost the federal government. But here's the point of a Medicare-For-All. You don't compare what the federal government is spending today with what it's going to spend in 2022 if you institute Medicare-For-All. Those aren't the only important figures. The important figures are, what do we as a nation spend on healthcare? Because I may not spend that much in taxes on healthcare now. I pay a little bit payroll taxes, 2%, 3% on Medicare taxes. But I'll pay a lot more on taxes if it's Medicare for all. However, what I won't be doing is paying out copays. I won't be paying premiums. I won't be paying for any of that other stuff. And so the other stuff, the stuff that I'm spending as a private individual, I don't care. If I'm going to get good health insurance, I don't care if I've got to pay taxes to get it or I've got to pay private entities to get it. I just want good health insurance. I would also like the bonus of not having to worry about losing it. That's one of the benefits of Medicare for All. I would also like the benefit of not having to worry about negotiating with my insurance company and sending in claims and paying $4 bills and $32 bills. And, because my daughter got, her blood checked. And now I got 14 different entities that I've got to pay. But let's just stay on the expenditures. On the expenditure side, this same study, they bury it because they didn't want reporters to report it. But this same study that says that while the federal government will be paying $32.6 trillion, the nation's expense for health insurance, which would be the federal government plus what we spend as individuals in the private sector will actually be $300 billion less over that same time. So Brunig's headline is Mercatus study, instead of study shows it's going to cost $32.6 trillion over 10 years, it's that Mercatus study finds that Medicare for All saves $300 billion over those 10 years. And that's the whole point that Bernie was arguing throughout the entire campaign about Medicare for All. Your taxes are going to go up, but the amount of money your average American expends on health insurance is going to go down.
Oh,
I told you about the example from Denmark that I had to do in a sociology course in college. And at first, like, the top line of your taxes you paid were like, from especially American years, you're like, whoa, forget that, no matter how left you are. But then you went down the list from healthcare to electricity, and you basically, you came out net positive across the board.
Look, who doesn't want to spend, who doesn't want to pay one thing
right
once, either have it taken out of my paycheck or go and pay disparate things all the time. It's just from a
your life was far more efficient too.
Oh, and I just saw a correction from People's Policy Project. They say there was a copy paste error in the spreadsheet, and the savings is actually 2.054 trillion.
Oh, okay. So it's that much more cheaper.
Way to go for precision, you pricks.
But if you don't include a whole bunch of people like drawing a profit from, the delivering of these services, how is it going to be efficient?
What about the existential meaning that people derive?
Exactly.
Yeah. What about
and we should also add, under Medicare for All, everybody has health insurance. So you're going to save,
totally unfair,
as a nation, over $2 trillion in healthcare costs. Yet you're going to be insuring far more people.
Yeah, but then you can't carry out a eugenicist class war against the poor. So where's the fun in that?
There's also that. I mean, we're going to have to adjust. People are going to have to adjust.
People also don't have the very deeply existentially fulfilling moments of spending hours on the phone arguing with their insurance representatives. Some of those arguments,
some of my funnest times
capitalism. I know you enjoy it.
We're arguing about what kind of
everybody else would be like, it's not the main thing, but it's so great that we don't have to haggle with these insurance companies anymore. And it's like, I actually kind of miss
the whole
terrorizing Barbara in accounts.
The anesthesia investigation I did when I got my last colonoscopy was, I think,
that was a crazy thing.
It was one of the more interesting things that I've been engaged in.
But how much better would it be?
I'm willing not to do that again.
Are you willing to just let go of that so everybody can just have their anesthesia?
I've done it once. I feel like I've checked that off my bucket list.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.